Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport and probably the last weekend roundup of 2021. We have seen some frills and spills from a multitude of series, but now we are at an end. After this weekend we only have Formula 1 and 2 and Extreme E left to finish. But don't worry, Formula E starts in just a few weeks. So today we have Formula 2 action from Saudi Arabia, a hell of a lot of racing from Bathurst, and the final round of the Nitro Rallycross season. So remember to subscribe because 2022 is just round the corner and all the action will be covered on this channel as long as we are all still alive, that is. So let's start with the Formula 2, and with all the handbags being thrown in Formula 1, you'd excuse Formula 2 for being more reserved. Far from it, there was carnage galore as we head towards the end of Formula 2 for 2021. Oscar Piastri already had a healthy lead in the championship, with teammate Robert Shwartzman and 2022 Formula 1 driver Guan Yu Zhou chasing him. Piastri had the most to lose, but had by far the best weekend. Guilherme Semaya and Marino Sato made contact at the first corner of the first race, which brought out the safety car. At the restart, Guan Yu Zhou's title hopes went up in smoke as he made contact with Lundgaard and spun. There were some good battles in the midfield, especially as Ralph Boschung dropped back and there were 5 cars very close to each other fighting for third. Theo Pourchaire had a big crash towards the end which brought out a second safety car. De Ruvela pulled a move on Lundgaard and Piastri which may be a contender for move of the season, and Marcus Armstrong won his first race of the year, which was long overdue. Unfortunately, Marcus Armstrong was one of the 4 who were taken out at the start of race 2, with Yuri Vips joining them shortly after. Much like the first race, there was some good racing and another late crash, with Liam Lawson being the unlucky one this time. Oscar Piastri won the race and had pole for the feature, which sadly was shortened after a horrible crash at the start. Theo Pourchaire did not pull away from the grid and was slammed into by Enzo Fittipaldi. Red flags instantly and Enzo was injured. Hopefully he'll be back soon. There was another crash shortly after the restart, with Guilherme Semaya having his third crash of the weekend with Ollie Caldwell. There was another red flag, race ended and Piastri won, but was only awarded half points, so isn't quite champion yet. But honestly, he has a huge lead over Robert Shwartzman. It would take a miracle to stop Piastri now, but with Guan Yu Zhou going to Formula 1 and Shwartzman probably getting another year in Formula 2, winning the championship may have been the worst decision of Oscar Piastri's career. Where does he go next year? Sure, he's an Alpine reserve driver for 2022, but he has no drive and no seat ready and waiting. He should have waited a year. Moving on to Nitro Rallycross from a place called The Firm, which sounds like you're going to get beat up by a load of football hooligans. Chase Elliott was a guest driver and did a pretty good job. Not quite as good as Kyle Busch, but decent. It's nice to see NASCAR drivers do other things. Timmy Hansen won the qualifying and all 3 championship contenders won their heats. There wasn't too much drama at this final round of Nitro. Timmy Hansen won his final with brother Kevin behind him. Speed finished ahead of Pastrana, but Travis won the first ever Nitro Rallycross Championship on countback, with Timmy Hansen just 1 point behind Pastrana and Speed. Got a feel for Timmy Hansen. A few months ago he could have been World and Nitro Rallycross Champion, but now he lost to Johan Kristoffersson in the World title on countback and the Nitro by a point. He was just a point in each championship away from winning everything. Nitro Rallycross has been really good and I can't wait to see what we get from America in 2022. Finally, Australia, and I don't know where to start with all the action up the mountain. Chaz Mostert had a great weekend, winning the Bathurst 1000 for a second time and also taking the TCR Australia Championship despite skipping the last 2 races. He finished the Supercars Championship in 3rd as well. Lee Holdsworth took his first Bathurst win. Shane Van Gisbergen had a puncture towards the end which dropped him and Garth Tander to 18th, but he had already sewn up the title. Jamie Whincup in his final full-time race, he may do some races here and there, managed to finish 4th in the race and a long way behind SVG in the championship, whilst his replacement Brock Feeney had a good race until a crash after the restart. But as a replacement for Whincup, it's going to be interesting to see how Feeney does. It was also the end of the S5000 Tasman series, 4 more races up the mountain, or 3 because the last was called off because of a huge crash. Aaron Cameron won the title, only just beating Roberto Merri, who did a great job in this series. I had my doubts, but he definitely proved me wrong. I hope this series comes back and gets more coverage. It's a great winter series and hopefully will have bigger fields and take place in both Australia and New Zealand. So that is the wrap up for the final weekend roundup of 2021. We move on to 2022 with the action getting underway in Formula E and Dakar, mere weeks away. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a like, remember to subscribe, thank you for watching and have a good one.